What's up, Mortgage Coach community? I am on fire with mortgage strategy interviews. I think this is the 7th or 8th one of the week. I've got John Downs out of Washington, D.C. What's up, John?
How are you, Dave? Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to help.
Yeah, well, I got this idea a week or two ago from our community where they're like, Dave, we need help on how to do a cost of waiting. We need help how to do MI versus no MI. And at the end of the day, they're all mortgage strategies. So I thought I would interview some of America's most successful loan officers, you being one of them. For those of you who don't know, John did 100 million last year and is on track to do 70-ish million this year. By all measures, you know, one of the best of the best. And I thought I would talk to John about, you know, what mortgage strategies are you doing most common in your market? So John, if you don't mind telling us what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Yeah, so, you know, I tell you, so we're DC, so we're the land of the 28 to like late 30s professional that, you know, they probably have like 3 or 4 degrees, mostly law. They don't have a lot of cash. So we're doing a lot of comparisons of, you know, 5, 10, 15% down, you know, no PMI, monthly PMI, you know, combo liens, 80, 10, 10s, things like that. We're starting to show more adjustable rates. Haven't really done a lot of those in a long time, but actually with the Mortgage Coach platform, it's made it a lot easier to kind of pitch and kind of, you know, unravel the possible savings that exist there too.
Yeah, well, I just got off the interview with Giuseppe, and top producer of the Denver market, and he did a strategy where they had a client that wasn't sure if they wanted to put 20% down or 15, and you know, he was able to show that, you know, put the 15, and even with the MI, when you look at what you're earning on that money that you would have, you know, put more down, they were better off. So I can't wait to see what you're going to show us. So why don't you start sharing your screen and walk us through a couple mortgage strategies?
Yeah, so I picked 2 here. You know, one's a little on the higher end, but again, in DC, you know, average sale price is probably in the mid 8s for a single family home. This happens to be a pretty sweet condo, actually. Again, young couple right out of law school, you know, only been in the job force for about a year. They're not one of those, you know, young couples where families just kind of dumping in, you know, $100,000 gift here or there. You know, what we wound up showing in this one was the difference between a 30-year fixed and a 10-year ARM. So these are combo liens. You know, the neat thing about Mortgage Coach is if you hit those more info tabs and you click on reinvestment, you can actually see the breakdown of the first and second mortgages and exactly what rates they are. So, you know, one idea was just saying, hey, here's what a combo lien is, right? So I use the platform to educate to that. It automatically gives you the blended rate, which is, I used to have to do that by hand. So that's very useful. And then, you know, I haven't really been a pay points kind of guy for a long time. It goes against sort of how I'm wired. But we have a portfolio arm here where they could just put 10% down, but it cost $1.25. So it's not inexpensive, you know, $8,700 in cost. So what I did is with these charts over here, with the savings over 60 months and principal paid in 10 years, I gave them 2 strategies. So one was, should you pay the extra $8,000 to do the 10-year ARM to save the $320 a month? In which case, you would save $17,000 over the first 5 years. So that was actually right out of the gate. They were like, wow, that's kind of a no-brainer. We're going to be in the house for at least 7 to 10. So when we stretched it out to 10 years, I wanted to show them, because they were truly waffling, fixed rate ARM, fixed rate ARM. They were totally comfortable with the fixed rate payment. So with Mortgage Coach, you can put in the reduction of payment. I actually had the—
Love that you did that, by the way.
Yeah.
I see loan officers miss this all the time. So guys, make sure you really connect the dots what John's doing here.
Yeah, so what I call the ARMs, at least back in the day when I did more of them, is I called them equity accelerators. So if you're cool with the 30-year fix, and you know everyone in your family is saying 30-year fix, make the 30-year fixed payment. Just pay less interest during the period of time that you're going to be in the house. So an adjustable rate, in my mind, is an equity accelerator if you use this strategy. So by putting that $320 a month extra towards principal, in Mortgage Coach, you can actually apply it towards the second mortgage, which is just pretty awesome, right? That's the higher rate you want to pay off. But check this out, principal paid in 10 years, The difference is, what's that, 40, 55, $60,000 of extra principal that you would pay by taking this 10-year arm. So that locked it in right there. They said, that's awesome. I'm going to do the 10-year arm, and we're absolutely going to pay a little bit more per month, and we're going to save a lot of money. So this one was highly effective, and gave a lot of value. Quite frankly, that there were other options out there that existed, and through this education, they kind of went with us.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, Ray, connect the dots. Is this value? If you're a family looking to get a mortgage and you're kind of confused, should I do this? Should I do that? Obviously, John delivered value. He taught them something they didn't know. He showed them how to build up equity faster so they could accelerate that next home and have a bigger down payment. So you really did a nice job here. By the way, folks, John's giving me the links. So if you're watching this in our YouTube, down below, there'll be a link to this total cost analysis. And we're calling this the 30-year versus 7-year with a prepay. And then one more thing, I got this from Jay Crowell recently, or Jay Kroll, and he's calling them strategy 1, strategy 2, strategy 3. So instead of, it's a product, it's a strategy. Now you're explaining that, but when you actually presented, I thought that was sharp, because now you're not selling loan programs, you're selling strategies. Anyways, I'll let you decide if you like that or not, John, but
I do. I just stole it. I'm using it from now on.
It's trending in the market. I interviewed another loan officer who's like option 1, option 2, option 3, but it's the concept of, we got to get away from quoting rates, fees, and programs and get into hopes, dreams, goals. Here are strategies and options to achieve those hopes, dreams, and goals. So John, do you have another one?
I do. Yeah, so this one I've actually only been using for about a week and a half or so. Again, highly effective. I've been using this more with the real estate community, but also using it with buyers to just give. And I've actually had a video on here. I kind of took it off. If we're going to repurpose this one, maybe I'll put a sample video that I've been sending out to buyers. But, we all know with rates rising and housing prices higher, obviously, this year than they were kind of ever, or at least the last few years, there's a lot of at least hesitation that we are sensing and feeling, at least in the DC metro area, where an average person might come in and say, John, I don't know, maybe these higher rates are actually going to cause a pause and maybe better pricing's ahead. So what I did is I took the Mortgage Banker Association's rate projections. I used the FHFA. You can get this from the, just Google MBA housing forecast or rate forecast, and it's on that grid they come out with. And FHFA is predicting a 4-point-something% increase in housing prices in 2019 and a 3.1%, I believe it is, increase in 2020. So what I wanted to use this for is to say, okay, here is a $550,000 condo in DC. I'm using like a Home Ready program with Home Ready PMI, just so you know. And you would put down $41,000 and your payment's $3,600 a month. Now, if you wait a year from now and properties do increase 4%, so there's the 572, and interest rates do go up to the MBA forecast, 5.25, your payment actually increases all the way up to $3,872, and you need a little bit more cash. Go all the way out to 2020, then you've got another 3%. So now that 550 house is selling for 590. Interest rates are even a little bit higher, and you can see by buying today, you would be saving yourself $469 per month if all these projections come true. And when you flip over and you look at these charts showing the savings over 5 years and then the interest in MI in 10, it magnifies the cost of waiting. I mean, it's not, we're not lying here at all. This is like real stuff. So if you buy today, you'd save $31,000 over the 2-year period by buying this place. And then if you stretch it out over 10 years, you can see it's about $60,000 in interest that you would save, but you've got to click into the more info tab and highlight the loan balance, and you would owe $40,000 less, right? So I think there's some big stories in using this platform to educate to the cost of waiting. A lot of my real estate partners, they haven't sold in a rising rate environment, right? A lot of the agents out there kind of got in like 2010, 11, 12, And now we need educations like this so that the real estate community can kind of educate people. Last little takeaway on this one that really was the button is I took this person said they made 140 grand a year. If I took their their wages increased 3% a year over year, right? So from 140,000 a year to 144 to 148, and then I took out taxes and I paid this mortgage, their disposable income only changes by $89 a month. So if you kind of think about that, yes, this house price would go up 40 grand. Yes, this mortgage payment would be almost $500 more expensive. But the reason that can happen is because the economy is growing and people are getting raises, and a 3% wage increase can stomach a 4% housing price increase and a 0.5% interest rate rise, at least in this calculation that I've done. So that's just more ammunition for if rates are rising for the right reason with a strong economy, wages alone will stomach the increase in prices and rates.
Wow. So guys, this is what a modern mortgage professional sounds like. He's high touch, high tech. He's asking families questions. He's looking for where are they confused? Where's the opportunity? How can I bring education, teach them things they didn't know? And then of course he's using tech. Hey, John, could you go to the upper left-hand corner? Oh no, pull that
Yep.
back up and go to the menu in the upper left-hand corner. I want to just remind folks that you could translate this so the family member can read this in Spanish. It can be printed. You can click the share button. You can update the view and look at this in different views. So super shareable, super valuable. You go ahead and take down your screen now and let's just kind of wrap. Yeah, so here we are.
I like that. You know, I've never used the switch view. I kind of like that.
Yeah, you know, it look, depending on how you want to tell the story, you can adjust it, because at the end of the day, that's what we want to help you guys do. We want to help you connect with the family. The story starts TBD. Hey, we don't have a home in escrow. The story keeps going. We want to make that fast, efficient, and help you go from confusion to clarity in a way that's a competitive advantage. So John, you are killing it. Great example of how to lead. If everybody watch this, if you're getting value from it, click, you know, I like it, share it with your mortgage friends. Both of these examples are in the description down below. Also, I'm doing an entire series called Mortgage Strategies. This is number 8. So if there are other mortgage strategies or people you'd like me to interview that are top producers, being advisors, delivering strategies, let me know. John, any final words for the mortgage coach community before we wrap it up?
You know, just that it's getting really hard out there. And I will say I've been sending my presentations after I send it to the borrower. I've been sending many of my presentations to my agents. And the general feedback is, wow, you are delivering so much value. You know, they're loving it. No one else is doing this. So it's a huge value add. Now that I'm like so ingrained to use Mortgage Coach, it's just so easy and fast to kind of navigate the whole system and spit these things out to people. So just get the commitment, use it a lot, show your realtor partners, use the video. You know, it makes a difference in these challenging times for sure. No
doubt. And by the way, guys, I can't remember how long ago it was I did my first interview with you, but I interviewed John 45 days after he started as a mortgage coach. And remember, this guy is a monster producer, so he's busy. You know, he doesn't have time to do extra work. And I interviewed him 45 days after. Check it out below. And then I also interviewed him and said, hey, John, how did you implement this technology within your team? And so if anyone's on this call, whether you're implementing a CRM, whether you're trying to adopt Mortgage Coach, if you're just having challenges adopting new tech, I highly recommend you listen to those interviews down below, because John is just a great Mortgage Coach success story where it's only been a little over a year, right? Since
probably that was like November, December. Yeah, and I remember it.
Not even a year. Yeah, not even a year. And now, how fast can you knock out a total cost analysis?
A minute. No joke. Like, I mean, it's really fast.
Yeah. Well, we might have to do, because I think last time I talked to you, it was 3 to 5 minutes. So we might have to. With all the templates now that I have them all dialed in, I mean, it takes a little time of setting it up, but man, you can get some efficiencies so quick out of that. It's great. Well, and by the way, John, I can already tell right now, let's think like a week or two from now, think of another strategy, and then let's show the strategy, and then let's have you do a speed test.
Nice.
I'll do a stopwatch, and we'll say, okay, you did
Perfect.
it.
All right.
How fast can you
Money.
create
Yeah.
it?
All right.
Go.
You're on.
All right. Hey, have a good one, everybody. The Riders Cup is this weekend. Go USA. Have a great weekend, everybody, and thanks a lot, John.
See you. No problem. Thank you.
All right. Take care, buddy.